Today we're going to watch a video, and it is by Tifa Snow. She is the founder of Positive Approach to Care, and she's a renowned dementia expert on people living with dementia. We're going to talk today about normal aging versus not normal aging. So how many of you all have had something like that happen to you before?
Today.
What do you think happens when you're forgetting things like that, or when you lose track of what you're thinking?
I think it's a mind blip.
A mind blip, that's a good thing. Actually, what could be happening is when we're stressed or anxious, and whenever we suck our air and you know, you're doing something and you think, oh my gosh, I've got that, then you stop breathing. And so your brain is flooded with cortisol. And so but if you just so your whole nervous system is affected when you're anxious or stressed. And you just, one of the things you can do is just take 3 deep breaths and blow them out. So let's do that. Let's take 3 breaths through your nose and then blow out. So doesn't that feel better?
It feels great.
And it feels better not to know that it's just anxious and nervous, because that can be unnerving.
I
To
do
say the
that
least.
often.
Do
All
you?
the time whenever it's just like I'm nervous for something, I breathe in and breathe out. And also I've been doing yoga a lot.
Yes.
And that's very important too. So
It's a good thing to have. It's for stress and anxiety. So let's get started again. We're going to watch Tifa go through how humans take in data.
Okay, so here we go. Hand up. Was that good?
no, I didn't know what you were doing.
So how did you feel? How did you feel doing it? But how did you feel being?
Well, I know you were doing it, so it's fine. But it was uncomfortable. I didn't know what to expect.
And did you get an opportunity to feel that?
Oh, yeah. I was attacked.
She cringed.
You were attacked from the back.
Yeah, I was attacked while I was in Australia attacking you.
Oh.
It was a strange.
So how did that feel?
It makes me feel frightening, not frightening, but unexpected. It's unexpected. You don't know.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you say? You said it feels.
It was uncomfortable. It was just not knowing.
I think partly you don't touch people unless you really know them well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she talks about 5 ways that we take in data from all out there into our brains, and that's what she just did. And the first and most important is visual. Everybody do visual. That's your primary way that you take in data. And I don't know how many of you ever have heard the phrase of, people make their first impression in the first 7 seconds they see you. You don't have to say anything. So the second way that we take in data is auditory. And so back to the visual for just a second. You're taking in visual through your eyes. And it's going to your occipital lobe is back here in the very back of your brain. And so it has to travel from here, and then it has to come in here, and then it goes all the way back. It mixes it around, looks for the information and the data in the file cabinet in your brain, and then You can make sense of it. And we all think that we can process, we can help someone living with dementia process auditorily. So we talk to them and give them instructions. But actually they are visually sizing us up and visually deciding what we're doing to them. So when we did the role play of taking away your visual, and you all put your hands behind your back, and then we surprised you by touching you in places. So that's the huge difference, is that you didn't see it first. And so the third way she talks about, of course, is sensory. And these three are your primary ways that we take data into our brains. If someone's touched you and you can't see them, whenever you hear a noise, what do you do? What's the first thing you do if you hear something?
Look.
Is that what you all think? Look. So it's auditory always comes back to this. Touch always comes back to this. So I think that you all said that it was uncomfortable.
I know, it was not knowing, just not knowing what was going to be the next place.
Yeah.
Well, I touched you on your back,
Right.
and then I was going to touch your leg, but then I thought, boy, that's really getting personal.
Yeah, and I touched her leg, and I mean, that wasn't, I can tell.
Did she jump?
Well, I was like,
Well, she was already jumping, but
yeah, and I think it's also like you don't have any control.
yes.
What's gonna happen,
Mm-hmm.
and
So no control,
yeah, no control, and you also don't have a say
and you don't have a say.
because you don't know what's going on.
Right.
So
I think the main thing is you don't know where it's going next.
yeah, and I think it's
that
also caused
fear.
confusion
Mhm.
as well as like, oh, what else is gonna happen?
Well, that was fun.
So how do you think, if you had dementia, how do you think that would feel?
Hard.
Horrible.
Scary.
Scary. Yeah. Okay. Video will start again. And,
How many of you found at some point you were being touched, your eyes flew open? How many of you realize you had a really hard time not going, wait a minute, hang on there. Now what I want you to do right now is touch yourself where we just touched you. Go ahead and touch yourself where we made the touch.
okay, so now, you know where she was touching, and you got your eyes open. Close your eyes and I'll just give you that experience. It's like, yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. So now put touch yourself where I touch you. So you know where it's coming from. Why do you think that's so different?
Because it's not
It's
impersonal.
familiar.
Mm-hmm. It is personal, or
It's impersonal.
oh, it's impersonal. Okay. So that's the main thing, is we know where it's coming from. It's more personal. I mean, you know where your touch is going.
It's predictable.
Predictable. That's a good word. Predictable. Okay.
I felt like you were definitely had control, like, very secure when you were walking with me and guiding me. So I felt, very trustworthy of what was happening. It was sincere. So.
And I like the palm.
Yes.
The palm was, was relaxing. It was reassuring.
Reassuring. Reassuring. What did you think of it? And you work with people.
Yeah. After you taught me that, you taught me it a few weeks ago, and I started using that. And
Really?
residents loved it because at first, like, no one ever taught me how to, talk. Like, of course, like talk to a resident, but just if a resident leave and they're like getting kind of like anxious and they don't listen to you. So just like see what the caregivers do, where they will just like, come on, let's go, and like grab their arms, and then I started doing what you did, and they're like,
So
it's so much easier.
you used hand over hand
Yeah,
and you found it to be more comforting to them,
it is.
more effective.
Mhm.
That's what I think I heard you say. Okay.
I'm excited to start using it.
Yeah.
Very excited.
You can start steering a minute.
Go right Go straight in the choir.
Let's all go in there now and try.
Everybody grab a curve.
We have a lot of really high functioning active residents, so this is a good way to, interact with them. So positive manners. I'm very excited.
And the other thing that she mentions later in another video is the confrontational stance. And we've talked about this versus the side stance on your side. And it gets into, the next workshop gets into a lot more about hand over hand and just how even we can use it. Like you say, how, as Mesa's an activities director, and so she can guide people or help people through an activity with this technique. The purpose of hand over hand is connection, guidance, and assistance. But the part of the brain is the sensory motor. So everybody do sensory motor, where that is in your brain. And it's the oldest part of your brain. And it's hardwired. All the wiring in your brain runs through it. And it takes a lot of wiring. When someone has dementia, the wiring is on fritz. And it's dying. So as they lose skill, these three fingers, and retain strength, we become their skill. And they don't always have the ability to translate auditory instructions or directions, but they can always instruct. They can always process hand over hand, touch. And again, remembering what do we not do before they see us? What do we not do? Touch. Yeah. So you always make sure they see you first, and then you can touch. But you never try to move auditorily, like talk to them across the room and give them an order. That just, they don't even process it. Or touch them before they see you. Or it's that experience of coming from nowhere.
Feel the difference between touching with versus touching someone.
And that was the thing that we kind of skipped ahead on, but she said something really important. And can anyone think what that was? Why hand over hand is so supportive?
The communication with touch.
It's like we're doing with
Together.
instead of to. So when I have your hand and I've got you by a joint, I'm touching a joint, I'm not touching your arm, or I'm not touching your, whatever that is, your upper arm, you are feeling supported, but you're also feeling like we're moving in tandem, which is more like a dance. Do you think? Would that be more comfortable for anyone if someone had dementia?
I like the giving and receiving at the same time.
We are doing the changing, and we're working with what they have left. So,
Well, it's a willingness. It's putting them into a more willing state.
so a willing state, that's great. Noticed in the later stages that people have trouble understanding what you're saying. Have you seen them pause?
I have that trouble now.
I've noticed that. Have you thought why that might be? Do you think she just told us? What'd she tell us?
process.
that we have, you know, we're having, the wiring again is coming from here to here, and then here to here. And all of it has to work through the wiring together, and their wiring is on the fritz. So, by this, we're working with the hand of their hand, we're working with what they can do, and that's touch and vision.
She had tried it. I haven't. I think I learned it before, but
You haven't had the opportunity. Can you think of something that's happened lately that it would be useful?
absolutely. We have a few residents that have late stage dementia, specifically one that's still really active physically walking,
Mm-hmm.
but her brain, you know, she's not processing. She'll kind of look right through you. So I would like to try this and go walk with her and have a moment with her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where she can feel touch from me and feel that support.
Ooh, that'd be great.
I'm really interested to
I know
see how
that
she
would.
responds.
Yeah,
To convey
and it would be comforting to her.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
especially with late stage.
just a little bit. Or my problem is like sometimes I talk too fast, and also my tone, my voice is high pitched, and they can't really hear me talking high pitched. I have to talk slower and lower and deeper, and use smaller phrases. Talking to them, so that helps too.
Make it simple.
Make it simple. That's it. Make it simple.
What do you think are normal aging that you talk about there in the limbic system, which is kind of the first system, the core system of your brain, and the amygdala that is, you know, it's, you know, fight, or flee. And so everybody do those. I mean, I think it's different. What we do is that's fright, and then flight, and then I want what I want when I want it. I want when I want when I want it. Everybody do that. I want what I want when I want it. So it's that's fright, flight, and then I want what I want when I want it. So all of those are in the core of our brain, in the limbic system, and it's kind of the last one to go. But it's on the fritz again, and the amygdala. They still have the amygdala many times. You know, I want what I want when I want it, and you can see when someone, you know, I've seen residents take something that they're not supposed to have, like a piece of cake, and know enough to hide it and sneak it into their room, and then you can see them, you know. So they want what they want when they want it, and they don't, you know, they don't care, you know, how you get it out of their hands. But what are some of the things that you remember about the scenario or the phone conversation that you had with Betty that was normal aging that we might think wasn't? Do you remember any of those? You are shaking your head. Normal aging,
You know, just having a blip in the mind, a blip in the memory of it where you just couldn't pull the name. You just
Pull the name.
You couldn't remember exactly why you went that way.
Or forgetting what you're trying to do. Like, wait, I'm in this room for a reason.
Yes.
Like, you're forgetting.
Yes.
Like, oh.
Yes.
And so what other things do you think that she talked about that are normal aging? That, you know, we take longer to process, for instance. So she was getting Betty's name, but it was taking longer to go to the cabinet, you know, click into the data with that name, that face, or that voice recognition, which is over here. And
Well, I was concerned if she was going to make it to Macy's in the menswear.
If you're a young person, you're young, and your wiring is really good and quick, what will happen? What's the first thing I
And
so she was going around it, right, verbally and talking to herself about it. And so she didn't have a visual on it.
But I think also, what I was thinking is that she was waiting for the friend to supply the answer. I don't know.
She could have been.
Supposition.
And did when people start moving into a dimension, or when people are moving into a dimension, they forget nouns first, which is interesting. So, again, all of these are normal. And the key idea is you might recognize strong visual cues, like maybe the coffee pot in the closet, you know, where the coffee pot, you know, is, she saw it, but it wasn't enough. So what did she have to do to spark that memory?
Go back to the
Backtrack.
original. You always go back to your original.
Absolutely. So, and it'll come. You know, it's just having most of the time.
But she went back in a certain order. It was looking, and then talking to herself, and then the physical, putting herself in that spot.
Yeah, she reversed order.
So she tried visual first, and it didn't work. Then she tried auditory, talking to herself, and it didn't quite work. When she did the sensory action, sitting down in the chair, that's when it popped up, triggered it. Okay, so now we're going to look at the list, and I'm going to give you the list of what are some of the features that you noticed in, in your normal aging scenario. And then let's just talk about the top list right now, because those are the normal scenarios. So, you mentioned it. She couldn't recall what the word was for coconut. So she said, you know, that white flaky stuff. And she was talking about. And so she needed time to process. So how important is it to you to have time to process what someone's asking you to do? So if I ask you a question and I want a quick answer, how fast do you think it takes you to process? And so that normal aging would mean we, you know, and all of us have had things fall out of our mouth that we wish had not. So, but back to, you know, we've thought of one or two situations where you can listen for and pay attention to possibly not normal aging where you've seen it. And you mentioned feeling like they've been stolen, you know, something had been stolen. I noticed that, like the quarts of milk, you know, she went out and thought, well, who brought that by? She didn't even remember the conversation. And, you know, that was, then, you know, she didn't even remember what she was doing, and she couldn't go back to the place. Even the coffee cup, the dirty coffee cup, didn't prompt her. So those are some of the scenarios that happen with non-normal aging. With normal aging, we looked back and we saw that you could almost go back and physically sit in the place or visit. Even normal aging, you know, when you talk about a few of them, but how many did you think? I didn't think I'm more likely to look before you leave. I thought, as we get older, what did you think that possibly we lose impulse control? But, all of those are normal, and they're saying more likely to look before you. So you're slower to process and slower to think. But in not normal aging, it's pretty apparent you're unable to think the same. Or just get stuck in the moment, you know. Is that the list I gave you?
Yeah.
So, but those are just a few that won't, you know, the words wouldn't even come with visual or verbal touch cues. She kept trying to say the brown hairy ball, and she couldn't get where she was going with it. So go ahead and there's words that we can't come up with.
The simple ones.
The nouns.
Oh,
names of things. Chocolate, she couldn't get chocolate. She couldn't get coconut. She had to. She was doing this, and trying to narrow in on it, but she couldn't, And the other person was getting frustrated because they didn't know what she was talking about, and that happens a lot. But we are, like she said, you've got this. You're doing this, and we're the one that's on the other side is coming up with this. Is it this? Is it this? And you can't. Then everybody gets stressed out. Cortisol starts going. You need to go. And it is a basic communication activity that we do. We all say, George calls it, bring me a rock. What kind of rock? So you go get a rock. And we all do this, but as we get older, we're less able to think of what kind of rock and be specific about the rock. Does that
bring me
make
a
sense?
thing. Bring me a thing.
Bring me a thing. And if you say, what kind of thing, what would you do? You did it just a minute ago. You said,
A red ball.
You said a ball. And she said, what kind of ball?
Red.
A red ball.
That was pretty specific unless you gotta find a ball. What do you think now on a scale of 1 to 10 is your knowledge of knowledge?
10, that's great, right?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think?
Oh, definitely 10.
Definitely 10.
Definitely 10. Yes.
I didn't know anything about the normal aging or not normal aging. I was like, what?
I don't get to give a number.
You get to give a number. What? I'm
10.
sorry. 10? Okay! 10's all around. I have a little test. It's a workshop test that we're gonna do it. It's gonna be an open days. Which do you think it is? Respond, not react? Pointing out what the person with dementia is doing wrong, or just take over?
Respond.
Respond.
Respond and not react.
Respond nicely. Yeah.
And Mason said respond nicely, which is a little better. Respond with a smile.
Write that down.
Okay.
Yeah, like don't yell and don't get mad at them. Just respond nicely in a good, kind voice.
Because they're doing the best they can with
Yeah.
what they have left, right? And so that's a more positive way to approach this whole aging process, even if it's just normal aging, but especially if it's not normal. Human beings take in data how many ways?
5.
Everybody put out their hand and do 5 ways. And what is the most powerful of the 5?
Visual.
So all forms of dementia attack the brain asymmetrically. What side is usually attacked first and more severely?
Left.
It is left. So the left side is your language side. And, this is all auditory, so it's what you're taking in and processing. It's right here. So it is the left side, and I don't know why that is, but it's always asymmetrically. And it can flip back and forth. So please choose the correct statement. It's more effective to do to the person than with, or it's more effective to do with the person than to. With. That brings you to the hand with her hand. Okay. So, people find pressure in the palm of their hand comforting. That should be on. So, dementia will rob you of skill before it robs you of strength. True. Okay.